next, losers! Happy Thursday, everyone. It's official. The Republicans have clinched a majority in the House of Representatives. In response, the Democrats have clenched a majority of their buttholes. Buttholes. The greatest word in the English language. President Biden sported a big grin while welcoming Trump back to the White House. Some say it's a sign that Joe is enjoying a peaceful transfer of feces into his pants. You knew it was going to go there. When asked how she's doing, Nancy Pelosi responded, terrible. Now, maybe because of Trump's win or the fact that her new face is on back order.
Jesus.
John Thune is replacing longtime Republican Senate leader Mitch McConnell. Mitch plans to return to his home on the Galapagos Islands.
Little turtle.
The food delivery app called Wonder just bought Grubhub in a $650 million deal. The deal includes the world's most famous delivery driver. So far, Trump's cabinet selections include Fox News All-Stars Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Lee Zeldin. And I know. And look who the White House has added to their landscaping crew. Let's hope his wig doesn't blow off. Special effects galore. Whoopi Goldberg claims a bakery turned down her birthday order due to her political views. Come on now, what bakery turns down an order for a crumb cake the size of a waterbed? And a 77-year-old slice of cake from Queen Elizabeth II's wedding to Prince Philip was auctioned off for $2,800. It's the best $2,800 I've ever spent, said one man. Was it necessary? All right. So Republicans have taken the House, cementing power across Congress and the White House. All right, calm down. This, as Donald Trump just nominated 4 more cabinet members. He's putting a cabinet together so fast, he's like Jesus with a power tool. Each represents part of the MAGA alliance that either comes off as impressive or downright shocking. But that's the nature of the pirate ship. You get all sorts, and as long as they're rowing in the right direction, they're all aboard. Meanwhile, Trump and Biden's meetup at the White House revealed a glee among both of them that even the bitter, wound-licking media couldn't deny. But I think Biden was just happy to spend time with anyone who isn't trying to put a sheet over his head. So why is there such a feeling of optimism? It's the difference between wanting and deciding. In 2016, there were things Trump wanted: to be the president, to have an impact, to move Michelle Obama's weight set to the basement. 8 years later, though, the wanting has turned to deciding, not just for him, but for Americans, too, because we've decided it's time for a big change. This should have happened 4 years ago, but that election was about as secure as the sex swing in Chris Christie's bedroom.
Oh, my God.
It's like the whole country's transitioning, except we're getting our balls back. See, we all want stuff, but there's a point when you have to decide. Yes, I'm gonna make my bed. Yes, I'm doing push-ups. Yes, I'm finally getting that One Direction tattooed laser off my back. Then selling it on eBay. So this was more than just an election. It's a transformational moment, like Jackie Robinson allowed to play Major League Baseball, or women being allowed to vote, or Ilhan Omar saying I do to her brother. We decided as a country to move forward, and that means no more blaming the people today for the misdeeds of their ancestors. That's like arresting my great-grandparents because I'm criminally good-looking. The Dems were looking backward while doing things ass backward, and they got dumped, like I did with Taylor Swift. You would too. She snores like Andre the Giant with a sinus infection. But so many people are taking this personally, as if it's a rejection of their entire way of thinking. Now, truly, I want Democrats to feel better. I'm tired of seeing Rachel Maddow weeping at Home Depot. And so many in the media are miserable. And imagine being that distraught and not having your own hair to pull out. But the only way to get over it is to get out of your own head. Forget about identity. Embrace the world around you, family, friends, the people you see as you go about your day. Turn anxiety into curiosity. Instead of worrying about how tomorrow affects you, become curious about how you can affect tomorrow. Research shows that people who dwell on themselves experience more depression, but people who turn outward replace that anguish with curiosity. It's why I installed hidden cameras in the Fox and Friends bathroom.
Oh my God.
See, identity politics is just a fancy word for me. What do I want? What hurts my feelings? Obsessing over your identity feeds your ego and starves you of precious connections. No wonder a political defeat feels like a wound. But remove identity politics and the ego shrinks like Rachel Levine's nuts in a cold plunge. I mean, compare Trump supporters to their opposites. RFK, Musk, Tulsi, Rogan, Tucker, Vivek. They're all curious, adventurous types with outside interests. They surf, falcon, hunt, fly fish, leave dead bears in Central Park. But they have no time for self-obsession. They literally do not think about themselves. Unlike the noted never-Trumpers who have wounded egos tattooed on their foreheads. Kinzinger, Cheney, Morning Joe. Geraldo's freaking out so bad the state took custody of his mustache. Just look at the most unhinged outbursts on cable TV.
I think there are a lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen to you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is. They're not boys.
They wouldn't give these 13 service members' families the time of day.
Dude,
time of day.
I'm sorry, but Donald Trump hates veterans. He called them suckers and losers.
What is wrong with this country that they would choose a message of divisiveness, of xenophobia, of racism, of misogyny over a message of inclusiveness?
So talk about emotional wounds, because our outrage is rooted in identity. But we're different. When my guy loses, and he has, my life goes on. I get up the next day and I get dressed like I always do, by a team of Slovakian migrants. Let's welcome tonight's guest. She enjoys fast rides and discussing homicides. Co-host of Outnumbered Emily Campagna. He's not high, that's just his face. Actor and comedian Jim Brewer. She's just been nominated for Secretary of Soup. New York Times bestselling author and Fox News contributor Cat 2. And he brushes his teeth with a floor buffer. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NWA Emily, things are happening so fast. Every time there's a nomination, then there's another one, then there's another one. And I know that I'm experiencing post-election euphoria. But I feel when I'm walking around, it's out there. It's the animal spirit. You can feel it all over. How about you? What do you say?
Totally. That you probably need a restraining order. I feel it all over too. I feel it everywhere. It's electric. And obviously, maybe it's because we work here at Fox, but I feel it everywhere too. I feel it around where I live. And I think it's also really palpable, the dejection that is based on no actual foundation, but only those identity politics that you're talking about, because we're here in New York City. And the biggest irony to me is there's two things about their dejection. Number one, if they really cared about those identities, then wouldn't they see that, number one, all of these policies truly lifts all boats? If they really cared about the plight of the underserved in these communities, well then hang on, because it's gonna look real good from here on out. And number two, where's the applause and the recognition for example, the first female White House chief of staff that President Trump just installed, for the barriers that he breaks on a daily basis that he never gets any credit for because it's the wrong side? And the second thing is that this is their legacy. And this is what makes eating this cake taste so good to me. That, for example, Nancy Pelosi saying, I feel terrible. This was your legacy. This was your fault. The reason that the American people rose up and hit a hat trick and trifecta'd in the Republican Party is because all of you guys failed. You made our seats, our streets terribly unsafe. You made people died under your watch. People lost their livelihoods, they lost their businesses, they lost their scholarships, their hope for a future. They lost a lot of things under your watch. So for you to feel terrible, you should feel terrible about those things, not simply that the wrong side won. And the fact that now, I'm always ranting and raving about our tax dollars. The amount of waste that the bloated administration, the weaponization of the regulatory state, the fact that that's all coming to an end, I could not be more thrilled. I agree with you. I'm skipping down the sidewalk every day now.
That's
It's great.
Jim, a lot of people are upset. You have to be kind of vindicated because I've been following you in the last couple of years. You take a lot of
it started with the vaccine.
Yeah.
Then it started with going after, Biden. Just the fact that he's been dead since he showed up.
Yes.
I still, to this day, there's no way you can convince me that's the real Joe Biden. That's a remote control or a guy in a mask or what it is. But it's really nice to know that finally common sense is allowed to be spoken once again. I don't have to go, well, I don't know if people should be dressing like whores in front of 4-year-old kids. How dare you! You phobic, disgusting. Whoa. I know growing up in Long Island, some guys with a banana hat in front of the kids. We didn't call it education.
It's so true because I really do think everybody quietly was disgusted by so many things, but they couldn't say anything.
They couldn't say nothing.
Yeah.
So it feels good to just, now I got nothing to say.
Yeah. Kat, RFK, what do you say? That just happened a few hours ago and I made a rhyme out of it. That's how clever I can be.
Good one. Yeah, people are going crazy about it, but actually Obama was considering him in 2008 for EPA. And also I can't with all these people that are like, our precious standards of government. It's like, what standards are you talking about? Exactly. I'm also fine, who cares if it got way weirder, quite frankly.
Right.
I don't care. If he doesn't get through, why not Marianne Williamson?
Yes.
I mean, okay, she doesn't have any expertise in health. Okay, but she's 72 and she looks great.
Yes.
So
she could be the Department of Passion.
She clearly knows something. People really are freaking out. I saw a Vanity Fair headline that called it a brick scary cabinet. It's like, hey guys, who's the president right now?
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
We don't really even have a president right now. So I really don't, it's not going to be so easy for me to get wrapped up. And I love every single one of these picks. No. But we don't have a president right now. He's not doing anything. Yeah. I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Let's just get weird with it.
Goes back to the analogy of the pirate ship, or it feels like it's an authentic Expendables or Avengers. Tyrus, what movie would you?
What movie? Oh man, this.
The Dirty Dozen.
No, this isn't a movie. This is a war is about to. Let's hold off on the soiree and the partying, because he's going to attempt to drain the swamp with this group of individuals, which means the fight that's coming back is massive, because you are going to try to take apart an establishment who has fleeced the American people for generations. Yeah. Senators they're these career senators with their gold bars in their closets and their monies and being able to, cousins and first cousins and lobbyist sons getting jobs and places and being pushed to be in charge of energy in China or Ukraine. All of that's going to come to an end. And you think they're just going to be like, okay? So it's going to be, if he's picking these people, every one of them has an axe to grind. And there's a reason for that, because this is going to be the fight for the American. It's one thing to get in, it's another thing to actually make change. He's got the House, he's got the Senate. So all this is great, and we're all fired up. But if he walks in there and doesn't do term limits in that first week, because that's how you stop all this stuff. That's how you stop the career. You got to hit the term limits, and then you unleash the dogs, and then you find out how much money they've been stealing from the American people. Eventually, the people who donated to the Democratic Party to raise it up to $1 billion minus 20 are going to be like, they're going to find out that they were being conned by the government, by the progressive government. So that's not, they're just going to lay down and take it. It's going to be terrible. Pelosi's sad today because she's trying to figure out who she's going to take out first, who they're going to come after first. So he's smart in picking guys like Gates and guys because they're already flawed and they already have their issues, but he's coming for your job.
Yeah,
it's game on, but be alert.
It's the 1977 Oakland Raiders.
Yes!
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.